as you know, yesterday we have learned the first point of this chapter of lesson number 2, that was historiography Indian tradition. The first point which we have learned yesterday was tradition of Indian historiography, and the next point is Indian historiography, various ideological frameworks. Yesterday in 2.1, what we have learned that historiography in the ancient period. We know that historiography has been divided into 3 periods, and among these all 3 periods we have learned these 3 periods named as historiography in the ancient period, historiography in the medieval period, and historiography in the modern period. Today, we are going to learn about the next point of this chapter, that is Indian historiography, various ideological frameworks. Ideological means what? A set of ideas. A set of ideas which form the basis for a political or an economic system, which is the basis for the political or a economic system. And frameworks means a system of rules or ideas. A system of rules or ideas which help you decide what to do. It makes us decide what to do. So the first point in 2.2 is that colonial historiography. The early scholars who studied and wrote Indian history were mainly British officers. The early scholars who studied and wrote Indian history were mainly the British officers and Christian missionaries. Their prejudice is clearly reflected in the way some of them have ridiculed Indian culture. What some of them have done? They have ridiculed the Indian culture. They showed it like it is a silly one. Our culture is a silly one. They showed or written it in such a way. Their writings were used to justify the colonial British rule. The 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India, published during 1922 till 1937 CE, are distinct examples of colonial historiography. Their writings, they were totally used to justify how was the colonial British rule, and for this a very good example is given here, a book of 5 volumes named as Cambridge History of India. It was published during 1922 to 1937 CE. Next is Orientalist Historiography. Many European scholars were curious about civilizations and countries of the East. Many of the European scholars felt very curious to know about the details of the countries or the places which are towards the East. Some of those scholars felt admiration and respect for them. Some of the scholars, they felt admiration, they got admired to them, and also showed the respect to the countries who are towards the East, or the civilizations who were towards the East. These scholars were known as Orientalists, and those who showed admiration and respect to the countries towards the East, these scholars were known as Orientalists. The Orientalists studied the similarities between Sanskrit and some of the European languages. What did the Orientalist studies? The similarities between the Sanskrit and some of the European languages. They showed that there is a similarity between the Sanskrit language and the European language. They focused more on Vedic tradition and Sanskrit literature. They focused on more on the Vedic tradition and the Sanskrit literature. Their studies resulted into formulating the notion. Notion means what here? It is an idea. Their studies resulted into formulating the notion, an idea of an ancient language that could be the mother of all Indo-European languages. It showed that Sanskrit can be the mother of all the Indo-European languages. In 1784, Sir William Jones founded Asiatic Society in Kolkata. In 1784, Sir William Jones founded the Asiatic Society in Kolkata. It opened the door for research, and this society, which was founded by Sir William Jones, it opened the doors for research in ancient Indian literature and history. It opened the doors for what purpose? For the research of ancient Indian literature and ancient history of our country. Among the Orientalist scholars, Friedrich Max Müller deserves a special mention. You can see the picture of Friedrich Max Müller is given here. So, they deserve a special mention in the Orientalist history of the Orientalists. In his opinion, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of Indo-European languages. According to his opinions, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of all the Indo-European languages. He was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature. He was deeply interested in the Sanskrit literature. He first translated the Sanskrit text of Hitopadesh. In the beginning, what he did, he translated the Sanskrit text of Hitopadesh in German language. Means he translated the Sanskrit literature into a German language. He was the editor of 50 volumes of the Sacred Books of the East. And he was the editor of the 50 volumes, means 50 books named as the Sacred Books of the East. He also compiled Rig Veda, which has been published in 6 volumes. He also compiled the Rig Veda, which was published in 6 volumes. He translated Rig Veda in German. What he did, he translated the Rig Veda in the German language. Lately, Edward said, a scholar who has re-evaluated the Orientalist writing has thrown light on imperialistic interest of Orientalist scholars. Imperialistic means a political system in which a rich and powerful country controls other countries. So Edward said that a scholar who has re-evaluated the Orientalist writings, Orientalist writings were being re-evaluated by some of the scholars who light upon this interest of a political system in which a rich and powerful country controls other countries. Next is Nationalistic Historiography. of Indian historians who were trained in the British educational system. Writings of the Indian historians who were trained in the British educational system show an inclination to restore the pride in the ancient glory of India and self-esteem of the Indian. What did they show? They show a feeling of somebody who wants to behave in such a particular way. They wanted to restore the pride of our India, our history, our traditions. The writings are known as nationalistic historiography, means those who wrote about our country, what was the proper condition of our country, what was our history, in a right way, to show it in a right way. These were known as nationalistic historiography. Nationalistic writings in Maharashtra were inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chitlunkar. These nationalistic writings of Maharashtra, they were inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chitlunkar. He criticized the prejudiced history of ancient India written by British officers. As we already know that the Britishers had written our ancient history or the history by keeping some prejudice in their mind. So he criticized this prejudice and wrote our ancient Indian history. The nationalistic historians tried to seek the golden era of Indian history. These nationalistic historians, they tried to seek the golden era, golden time of our Indian history. They wrote on the peak time or the golden time of our Indian history. They are at times blamed for ignoring the critical analysis of the historical truth. Sometimes they are blamed for what purpose? For ignoring. They have ignored the critical analysis of the historical truth without critically examining the historical truth they have written in their text. Mahadev Govind Ranade, Ramakrishna Gopal Bhandarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Rajendra Lal Mishra, Ramesh Chandra Majumdar, Kashi Prasad Jaiswal, Radha Kumud Mukherjee, Bhagwan Lal Indraji, Vasudev Vishnu Mirashi, and Anand Sadashiv Altekar are the names of some renowned scholars among the nationalistic historians. These are the Indian scholars, renowned scholars among the nationalistic historians. Next, we can see on the page number 11 is that do you know? Do you know is given here. Like Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade has explained the background of the rise of Maratha Empire in great details in his book. In his book, he has written about the background of the Maratha rise of Maratha Empire in great details. The name of the book is The Rise of Maratha Power. According to him, it was not like a suddenly erupted forest fire, but the ground for it in Maharashtra on the social, cultural, and religious level was getting ready over a so long period. Means he wanted to say that Maratha did not erupted suddenly. A lot of time for a very long period they have to getting ready means they have to do the practices and all that. It was going from a very long period. Rajawadi is well known for his writings in Marathi on varied subjects like history, linguistics, etymology, grammar, etc. Etymology means the study of the origins and history of words and their meanings. Study of the origin, from where this word has came, what is its meaning, how is its history. History of that word is known as etymology. So they have written many books related to these subjects in Marathi. He was of the firm opinion that we should write our own history. He was having a firm opinion that we should write our own history. He compiled and edited 22 volumes of Marathancha Ityasati. Totally, he compiled and edited these 22 volumes named as Marathancha Ityasati Sadhane. He wrote very scholarly prefaces. Prefaces means introduction. The book that explains what is it about. So he has given a very good introduction to these 22 volumes. History is the all-inclusive image of the past societies. What he states that history is the all-inclusive each and everything society of the past period of the past society. It does not include only the stories of political images, conspiracies, and wars for seeking power. He insisted that history should be written only using the authentic documentary. What he said that history does not include only the political images or the conspiracies or the wars for getting the power. And he also insisted that when we are writing the history, we should use the authentic documentary source for writing history. Then again, do you know in that V.K. Rajawade founded Bharat Itihas Samshodak Mandal in Pune on 7th July 1910 to facilitate historical research. And again, human history is defined by time and space. What V.K. Rajawade said that human history is defined by time and space. It changes according to time and space. Space means what here? Place. Describing any event necessitates that the final portrayal should be spread on the complete canvas of the given time and place. Final, all the necessary things of the event should be portrayed, means showed on the canvas of the given time and place. Only if a balanced combination of the three factors, time, space, and personality, is present, then only an event is qualified to be called. So, if each and everything is there, like all three factors like time, space, and personality, then only we can say that it is an event. Otherwise, it is not an event, is said by V.K. Rajawade. The nationalistic historiography helped in the triggering of the independence movement of the Indian people against the British. This nationalistic historiography, it helped us to get triggered for what purpose? For getting the independence or independence from the Britishers. By this, we have started the movements against the Britishers by their ideas. In this first write the book, The Indian War of Independence 1857. One of such books is given here, right? The Indian War of Independence 1857, which was written by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, is of great importance. The nationalistic historiography provided a momentum to the writing of regional histories too. The nationalistic historiography, it provided a momentum for writing of regional history. As a result, the attention of historians was drawn to the geographic conditions and history of South Indian regions. And because of this, what has happened? The attention of the historians was now drawn towards the geographic. How is the geographic condition and how is the history of the South Indian regions? Now we will see the next point of this chapter, that is historiography in the post-independence era. Now, along with writing the dynastic history, along with writing of the dynasties, great dynasties of India, the culture, social, economic histories were also being written, not only the dynastic histories. Now we were also writing about the culture, social, and economic history. Scholars of the post-independence era began to feel the need of writing histories of various communities. They started to feel or begin to feel of writing. They thought there is a need of writing of histories of various communities in our society, related to science also, economic systems, political ideologies, cultural aspects, etc. Means we should include all the factors in our society in writings. The historiography of this era has been influenced mainly by three ideological schools. The historiography of this era, means post-independence era, has been influenced by the three ideological schools named as Marxist history, subaltern history, and feminist history. First, we can see Marxist history. Marxist history means political and economical thoughts. The concern for the needs of production. Concern means why there is a need of production. Mode of production. Mode means how is the production, how we can do the production, and the industrial relations were at the center of the writings of Marxist history. They were totally related to the production production of any of the object or the thing which is needed by the society. Accordingly, to analyze the impact of every social event of significance has remained the basic theme of Marxist historiography. According to the analysis, the impact of every social event of significance, important, each and every important event of the society has remained the basic theme of Marxist historiography. This is the basic theme of this Marxist historiography, each and every event in the society. Marxist historians in India studied the transitions within the caste system. They have studied the transitions. There are a lot of transitions, means differences, changes in our Indian caste system. Among the notable Indian historians who adopted Marxist ideological framework, scholars like Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi, Comrade Shripad Amrudange Ram Sharan Sharma, Comrade Sharad Patil have contributed notably. These were some of the scholars who had accepted or adopted the Marxist historiography. Comrade Dange was one of the founder members of the Indian Communist Party. Comrade Dange was one of the founder member of the Indian Communist Party. Primitive Communism to Slavery. Primitive Communism to Slavery. This is the book which was written by him to represent the Marxist historiography. Then after that we have a subaltern history. The seeds of the subaltern history are founded in the Marxist historiography. It is said that the seeds of the subaltern history, they are founded in the Marxist historiography. Means its beginning was from the Marxist historiography. The role of the Italian historian Antonio Gramsci is very important in developing the idea that history should be written starting from the bottom ranks of the people in the society. What this Antonio Gramsci said, Italian scholar, that when we are writing the history, we should write from bottommost rank, from the bottommost rank of the people in the society. In fact, subaltern means the bottommost rank. Subaltern means what? The bottommost ranks. Folklore has been considered as a very important source of writing subaltern history. For writing the subaltern history, folklore has become the most important source of writing the subaltern history. Ranjit Guha, an Indian historian, played a major role in establishing subaltern history as an important academic school of historiography. As an important academic school of historiography, Ranjit Guha played a major role for establishing subaltern history. However, we may point out that much before the onset of subaltern ideology, similar thoughts were expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Before the subaltern history, we come to know that this type of ideology was also expressed by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Mahatma Phule unfolded the history of Shudra Ati Shudra. Mahatma Phule unfolded the history of the Shudra Ati Shudra communities in his book Gulamgiri. Communities in his book Gulamgiri. He drew attention to the exploitation of women, Shudras and Ati Shudras done under the name of religion. The term Shudra and Ati Shudra is bottommost rank in the caste system. These two names, Shudras and Ati Shudras, they indicate the bottommost ranks in the caste system. Dalit caste is very significant in the shaping of various cultural and political aspects of India. However, their role was not duly acknowledged. In the colonial and nationalistic historiography. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, focusing on this fact, consistently wrote about it. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, focusing on this fact, consistently wrote about books, Who Shudras and The Untouchables. These are the two books written by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. One is Who Were the Shudras and the other is The Untouchables. May be cited as examples of history of subaltern type. This may be known as or considered as the examples of the history of subaltern type. Next is feminist history. Over a significant period of time, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. Over a significant period of time, mainly male scholars were involved in the writing of Indian history. As a result, the role and achievements of women in history remained neglected. There were only male scholars, and because of this, what happened? The effort or the work which were done by the women was remained neglected. To highlight this fact was a major task faced by the feminist historians. To highlight this fact was a major task faced by the feminist historians, means the neglected or the achievements which were brought to the women in the history. Also, it was important to study and compile the historical writings of women. And also, it was very important to study and compile the historical writings of the women. It was also necessary to rethink of women's position in history. It was also very important to know among the women authors writing about women in the 19th century. She were Tarabai Shinde. She was the foremost one for writing the feminist history. She wrote attacking the male-dominated social system and the caste system. She wrote against the attacking. She attacked on the male-dominated society and the social system and the caste system of our country. Her book, named as Sri Purush Tulana, the book which was written by her was Sri Purush Tulana, published in 1882, is acknowledged as the first feminist book in India. It is said to be the first feminist book in India. In 1888, the book written by Pandita Ramabai was published entitled The High Caste Hindu Woman. In 1888, the book written by Pandita Ramabai was published entitled The High Caste Hindu Woman. The feminist literature of the post-independence era concentrated on the issues like employment of women. The issues which were being concentrated in the post-independence era related to the feminist literature are employment of women, treatment meted out to them at their workplace, how was the treatment given to them at the workplace, the right to political equality, they should have the right to in the political system of our country. Among the recently published feminist literature, Meera Kosambi's book. Among the recently published feminist literature, Meera Kosambi's book, Crossing Thresholds. What it shows that feminist threshold means the ground of the entrance to a room or our building is known as a threshold. Means previously Women were not allowed to cross the limit or cross the ground of their building or the room. They were not allowed to go outside of the house. So this is the book written by Meera Kosami named as Crossing Thresholds, Feminist Essays in Social History is of importance. So this is the book very important for the feminist history. It contains essays on the life stories of women like Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukhumabai, the first practicing lady doctor of India. She was the first practicing lady doctor of India, Dr. Rukhumabai. Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukhumabai, the first practicing lady doctor of India. A lot of literature is available unfolding the viewpoint of Dalit women. Many of the literatures are available which are related to the Dalit women in Maharashtra. Dr. Sharmila Rege's work is noteworthy in this context. For the writings related to the Dalit women in Maharashtra, Dr. Sharmila Rege's work is noteworthy. Her book, Writing Caste, Writing Gender, regarding Dalit women's testimony means a formal statement that something is true. Includes her essays on the autobiographies of Dalit women. Writing caste, writing gender. This is the book which is related to essays on the autobiographies of Dalit women. Then we can read, do you know it in here? Right? Publication of Marathi Cassette by Govind Sakaram Sardesai was a momentous achievement in the field of Indian historiography. Was a momentous achievement in the field of Indian historiography. His work became so famous that people began to address him as Riya Sattar. His work became so famous. Because of people started to address her as the say as the Riya Sattar. He published several volumes of Marathi. He also published several volumes which were related to Maratha history. There have been a number of Indian historians who wrote like Surendranath Singh, G.S. Sardesai, and Trimbak Shankar are noteworthy. Here are some of the Indian historians who wrote without embarrassing a particular ideology. It is not dependent upon any one ideology. Different ideologies are being considered while writing the history. In the recent times, historians like Vishwan Dinkar Patti, Ramchandra Guha, etc. have contributed extensively to the history of Ramchandra contributed to the history of modern. It is evident that the Indian historiography has been influenced greatly by the social and political movements. It seems that some part of the Indian history also developed these movements. It also shows that the historiography was also developed outside the influence of these movements. Because of these social and political movements, the Indian historiography was developed. I will be asking you the questions related to the today's content, and then we will stop here. Okay. ideological schools they were related. So pictures are given here. You have to recognize to which ideology of school they were related. Priyanshu, unmute yourself and say the first answer. Tarabai Chinde were related to which ideology of school and which history? Unmute yourself. Priyanshu, unmute yourself. Sanu Mishra, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Sir, first one is feminist history.
First one is feminist history. Very good. Siddhi, second one. Siddhi, unmute yourself. Siddhi. Okay, Amir Hamza, second one. Unmute yourself. Shivam Pandey.
Subaltern history, sir.
Second one is subaltern. Okay.
Subaltern history.
Amir, third one.
Nationalistic history.
Third one. Now. Mahika. Third one.
Sir, subaltern history.
Now fourth one, last one remaining. Who will give the answer? Siddhi. Priyanshu, unmute yourself.
Marxist history.
Marxist history. Very good. So this is your homework to solve the exercise. Now we will stop here. Thank you, students, for joining. Sorry, ma'am.